this is the horror list that you know that you're up against. If you are someone who's come to Australia from overseas, a lot of these things are going to be very familiar to you. Of course, for any job, doesn't matter who you are, there's going to be probably a lot of competition. And we've seen that increase a lot in particular fields over the last year and a half with COVID. There was one job that one of my clients went for that had something like 500 applications for. It was just out of control. So, of course, with even though unemployment in Australia at the moment is relatively low, that's a sort of a deceiving thing, because a lot of people have more or less given up on searching for jobs. Hopefully that means they're not actually even applying for jobs, so that maybe we're not as many people applying at the moment, but it's still a factor. Of course, one of your big things and your biggest thing, which we're talking about tonight, is lack of local experience. This is how do you get a start if all they want is experience, and how do you get experience if you can't get a job? So we'll be talking about a number of strategies to do this tonight, obviously. Anything you can do to get any sort of experience in your industry is going to help. So I would even suggest doing things like looking for some sort of volunteer work. There's a website which I'm going to put into the chat called volleys.com.au. So you know how Australians love to shorten everything. So that stands for volunteers. So Volleys means you can type in what your skills are, and maybe there's a not-for-profit or some organisation that is looking for a volunteer to help out with a project for maybe 10 hours or maybe 3 hours a week or something, and that can give you a bit of experience to talk about. Internships, obviously, and if you can get some sort of industry experience in any way you can, that's going to really help you when you're applying for jobs, when you're in an interview situation, you can talk about that. A lot of these other things I just want to fly past. There may be cultural misunderstandings, bias. There may be a bias against you if you have a name that sounds very foreign. We've had success with some clients who have changed and taken an Anglo name. That's not for everyone, but that's maybe one way to overcome this perception that if you have a foreign name, maybe you're not going to fit into the team, or your cultural knowledge isn't going to be as good. Lack of relevant skills is a really big one, because we're finding with a lot of the master's courses, they're teaching skills that aren't in demand, and the ones that the employers are looking for are not being included in the courses. So the best way to find out, of course, is to go on Seek and have a look for the jobs that you want to apply for, and look at the list of responsibilities and the skills they're looking for. If you are missing some of the really crucial software skills, for example, like if you are a civil engineer and you haven't got Bluebeam or Costex for estimating, go and do the courses online somewhere, LinkedIn Learning or Coursera or Udemy or somewhere. Make sure that you have the skills, the software, the tools that the employers are looking for. We all know about COVID, and the rest of these, the last three here are what we're really going to be looking at in tonight's session. A lot of those things are outside your control. What I want to emphasize is the last 3 points there: the quality of your job application, particularly your resume, the size of your network, and your interview answers that's in your control. That's stuff you can work on. That's what we're going to help you tonight to keep on going.